For a long time, Hudson and Rex has been a comfort show for fans. It offered balanced serious crime mixed with warmth, humor, and familiar characters who felt like family. But according to Mayko Nguyen, that comfort zone is about to be tested. In recent conversations, she hinted that Season 9 would not follow the same safe formula instead. The story is moving toward deeper emotional ground, where characters are pushed in ways they never have been before. This shift is not about shock value or forced drama, it is about growth, change, and realism. Mayko made it clear that the characters are no longer standing still, they are evolving, just like real people do over time. She explained that the writers wanted to reflect how years of intense cases would realistically affect the team. The emotional weight, the mental pressure, and the personal sacrifices are no longer being brushed aside. Season 9 aims to show what happens when the job starts to leave real marks on the people. Doing it, this approach brings a more mature tone to the show, one that respects how far the characters have come and how much they have endured. For fans, this means the story will feel more layered and emotionally honest than ever before. One of the biggest changes Mayko hinted at involves character relationships. In earlier seasons, relationships often stayed stable, providing comfort and familiarity. But Season 9 is set to challenge that stability, according to her. Bonds that once felt unbreakable will be tested not through betrayal but through emotional strain and difficult choices. Characters will be forced to face uncomfortable truths about themselves and each other. These moments are not meant to shock but to reveal growth, vulnerability, and realism. Mayko emphasized that this shift allows characters to feel more human. Instead of always having the right answers, they will struggle. Instead of always being strong, they will sometimes show fear or doubt. This approach gives the audience a deeper connection to the story because it mirrors real life. People change, priorities shift, and sometimes, even strong partnerships must adapt or risk breaking apart. Season 9 uses these ideas to create tension that feels natural rather than forced. Another major change comes in the way stories unfold. According to Mayko, Season 9 will move away from simple case of the week storytelling and lean more into ongoing arcs. Each episode will still stand on its own, but there will be threads that continue from one episode to the next. This creates a stronger sense of continuity and makes every moment feel more important. Small decisions in one episode may carry consequences later, making viewers pay closer attention to every detail. This storytelling shift allows for deeper character exploration. Instead of resetting at the end of each episode, emotions and conflicts will carry forward. The audience will see how one case affects the next and how pressure builds over time. This approach also gives the actors more space to show growth and complexity. According to Mayko, it was an exciting challenge because it allowed her to explore sides of her character that had not been seen before. Perhaps the most powerful part of Mayko Nguyen's message is her belief that Season 9 represents a turning point for the entire series. She described it as a chapter where the show truly matures. Not darker for the sake of darkness, but deeper, more thoughtful, and more emotionally grounded. The familiar heart of Hudson and Rex is still there, but it is now surrounded by higher stakes and stronger emotional weight for fans. This means Season 9 will feel different in the best way. It will ask viewers to pay closer attention, to care more deeply, and to see the characters not just as heroes, but as people navigating complicated lives. Mayko's words make one thing clear: this season is not about playing it safe. It is about growth, honesty, and taking bold steps forward. And once the story begins, there may be no turning back. The shift Mayko Nguyen described goes far beyond simple story tweaks. According to her, Season 9 pushes every character into unfamiliar emotional territory, forcing them to face parts of themselves they have been avoiding for years. The show no longer relies on comfort or routine. Instead, it leans into uncertainty. Characters who once felt steady now question their choices, their roles, and even their sense of purpose. This change brings a more human edge to the story, where confidence can crack and strength can come from admitting vulnerability. What makes this transformation stand out is how quietly it happens. There is no sudden explosion or dramatic reset. The changes unfold through small moments, pauses in conversations, looks that say more than words, and decisions that carry long-term weight. Mayko explained that these moments were written intentionally to feel real, not dramatic for the sake of attention. The goal was to show how pressure builds over time, especially in a job where danger, responsibility, and emotional control are constant companions. She also revealed that the new season explores how emotional exhaustion affects judgment. Characters are no longer able to separate work from personal life as easily as before. The line between duty and emotion begins to blur, and that creates tension in both professional and personal relationships. This is especially true for those who have spent years putting others first. Season 9 challenges the idea that strength means staying silent instead. It suggests that facing inner conflict might be the bravest act of all. Another major shift comes from how the team functions together. While the bond remains strong, it is tested in more realistic ways. Trust is not broken through betrayal but through misunderstanding, pressure, and unspoken fears. Mayko hinted that some moments may feel uncomfortable for viewers because they reflect real-life struggles people often avoid talking about. This honesty adds depth to the story and gives every character space to evolve naturally. Rather than staying frozen in familiar roles, she also emphasized that Season 9 gives more weight to emotional consequences. Actions from earlier episodes no longer disappear by the next case. Instead, they leave marks that shape future decisions. This layered storytelling allows viewers to connect more deeply. Because every choice feels meaningful, nothing is wasted. And every moment serves a purpose in shaping who these characters become. What stands out most in Mayko's words is her respect for the audience. She believes viewers are ready for a more thoughtful version of the show, one that trusts them to follow subtle storytelling and emotional depth. Rather than explaining everything, this series allows moments to breathe. Silence, expression, and small reactions become just as important as dialogue. This approach creates a richer viewing experience that rewards attention and emotional investment. By embracing change instead of resisting it, Season 9 opens a new chapter for Hudson and Rex. It honors what came before while pushing forward with confidence. According to Mayko, this season is not about reinventing the show, but about letting it grow naturally, and in doing so, it invites the audience to grow alongside it, experiencing the story not just as entertainment but as something deeply human. As the story moves deeper into Season 9, one of the biggest changes comes from how the show handles long-term consequences. In earlier seasons, cases often wrapped up neatly, allowing characters to move forward without carrying too much emotional weight. This time, that safety net is gone. Mayko Nguyen hinted that decisions made early in the season will echo far beyond a single episode. Small moments that once felt harmless now carry lasting impact, forcing characters to face the ripple effects of their actions. This shift adds a sense of realism that grounds the series in something more raw and believable. What makes this change powerful is how quietly it unfolds. There are no exaggerated twists or forced drama. Instead, tension grows through silence, hesitation, and emotional distance. Characters begin to respond differently to familiar situations. Some become more guarded, others more impulsive. The audience starts to notice subtle changes in behavior, body language, and tone. These small details slowly build a deeper emotional layer that wasn't always present in earlier seasons. It becomes clear that the story is no longer just about solving cases, but about how solving those cases changes the people involved. Mayko also pointed out that Season 9 explores the idea of emotional fatigue. Years of high-pressure work have consequences, and the show no longer ignores that truth. Characters are tired in ways they cannot easily explain. They carry stress that affects how they communicate and connect with one another. This creates moments of distance, misunderstanding, and even quiet conflict, not explosive arguments, but the kind of tension that sits beneath the surface and grows over time. It makes the world of the show feel more lived in and honest. Another important shift is how relationships are portrayed. Rather than relying on constant reassurance or predictable bonding moments, the season allows relationships to exist in uncertain spaces. Trust is tested not through betrayal but through silence, emotional withdrawal, and unspoken expectations. This adds complexity to interactions that once felt straightforward. Viewers are invited to read between the lines, to notice what characters are not saying just as much as what they do say. The pacing of the season also reflects this deeper focus. Moments are given room to breathe, scenes linger slightly longer, allowing emotions to settle instead of rushing toward resolution. This slower rhythm makes the story feel more immersive and grounded. It gives the audience time to process what they are seeing, and to connect emotionally with each development. According to Mayko, this intentional pacing was designed to make every episode feel meaningful rather than rushed. By embracing this more reflective approach, Season 9 transforms the series into something richer and more mature. It does not rely on shock or spectacle to keep attention. Instead, it trusts character, emotion, and storytelling to carry the weight. This evolution signals a new phase for the show, one that respects its history, while daring to grow beyond it. For viewers, it offers a deeper, more personal experience that lingers long after each episode ends. As Season 9 moves toward its most defining moments, the biggest transformation lies in how the story begins to look forward rather than backward. According to Mayko Nguyen, this season is not just about resolving existing storylines, but about preparing the characters for what comes next. The narrative slowly shifts its focus from reaction to direction instead of simply responding to cases or circumstances. The characters start making choices that shape their futures. This subtle change adds a sense of momentum, making every decision feel intentional and meaningful rather than routine. One of the most striking elements of this season is how personal growth becomes unavoidable. The characters can no longer rely on old habits or familiar patterns to get through difficult moments. The emotional comfort zones that once protected them begin to fade, forcing growth whether they are ready or not. Mayko described this phase as one where characters are pushed to confront truths they may have avoided for years. These realizations are not always dramatic or loud, but they are powerful in their honesty. Growth happens quietly through acceptance rather than confrontation. The storytelling also places greater trust in the audience. Instead of explaining every emotion or decision, the show allows moments to exist without commentary. A pause, a glance, or a change in tone carries meaning. This approach respects the viewer's intelligence and invites deeper engagement. It encourages audiences to interpret, reflect, and feel rather than simply observe. The result is a more intimate viewing experience that lingers long after the episode ends. Another key shift is how the show handles hope, rather than offering easy resolutions. Season 9 presents hope as something earned through endurance and understanding. Characters do not magically find peace or clarity, they work through confusion, doubt, and fear to reach it. This makes moments of connection feel more authentic and rewarding. When progress happens, it feels deserved rather than convenient. Mayko also highlighted how this season honors the past without being trapped by it. Longtime viewers will notice echoes of earlier storylines, but they are woven into the present in meaningful ways. The past informs the present instead of defining it. This balance allows the series to move forward while still respecting everything that came before. It creates a sense of continuity that feels organic rather than forced. Ultimately, Season 9 represents a turning point not just in story, but in identity. The show steps into a more mature phase, confident in its voice and unafraid to explore deeper emotional ground. It asks more from its characters and its audience, and in return, it offers a richer and more rewarding experience through quiet strength, honest storytelling, and emotional depth. This season sets a new standard for what the series can become. As the season moves toward its final stretch, the story begins to reflect something deeper than plot or character development. It becomes a reflection of change itself. According to what Mayko Nguyen has shared, Season 9 is designed to feel like a turning point not just for the characters, but for the identity of the series as a whole. The focus shifts from simply telling stories to asking meaningful questions about growth, resilience, and the cost of holding onto the past. This shift gives the season a sense of purpose that quietly builds with each episode. One of the most powerful elements of this phase is how the show allows silence to speak. Instead of constant dialogue or action, moments of stillness become just as important. A pause in conversation, a look that lingers too long, or a decision left unspoken can say more than words ever could. These moments invite the audience to lean in, to observe carefully, and to connect emotionally in a more personal way. It is a storytelling style that trusts the viewer's intuition, rather than guiding every emotion directly. As the season progresses, the characters begin to carry the weight of everything they have experienced. Their past choices are no longer distant memories but active influences shaping how they move forward. Some find clarity while others face uncertainty. What makes this powerful is that the show does not rush these transformations. Change happens gradually, reflecting how real people grow over time. There is no sudden breakthrough or perfect resolution, only progress, reflection, and the courage to keep going. Mayko's insight into this stage of the story highlights how important vulnerability becomes. Strength is no longer defined by control or confidence alone, but by honesty and emotional openness. Characters begin to let their guard down, even when it feels uncomfortable. This vulnerability creates deeper connections, not just between characters, but also between the story and the audience. Viewers are invited to see themselves in these moments of doubt and resilience. Another important layer of this season is its sense of closure balanced with possibility. While some storylines begin to reach emotional resolution, others intentionally remain open. This balance creates a feeling of continuity rather than finality. The show acknowledges where it has been while leaving room for what might come next. It does not rush toward an ending, but instead allows the journey itself to carry meaning. By the time the season reaches its later episodes, it becomes clear that this chapter is about transformation rather than spectacle. The changes are subtle but lasting, shaping the direction of the series in meaningful ways. Through thoughtful pacing, emotional honesty, and quiet confidence, Season 9 stands as a reflection of growth not just for the characters, but for the story itself. It reminds viewers that sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones that unfold slowly, leaving a lasting impression long after the screen fades to black.